Microphone on. All right, folks, we're going to get started here. The first meeting that we have is the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. We're going to go ahead and start off with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silent meditation. Pledge allegiance to the flag. One nation. Indivisible. Okay, first item is roll call.
Mayor Scott Nickel.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Adam Dyer.
Here.
Councilmember Susan Romy. Here. Councilmember David Nutt.
Here.
Councilmember Neil Yorio.
Here.
Also in attendance, City Manager John W. Coffey and City Attorney Carl Bone.
Okay, under new business is item A, 139 Terry Street, after the fact driveway permit denial appeal. City Manager Coffey.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Earlier this year, staff noticed a recently installed expanded driveway at 139 Terry Street, and the property owner was advised to apply for an after-the-fact permit. Due to the total amount of impervious surface created by the additional concrete, building official David Wiles denied the permit. On June 16th, the property owner emailed staff requesting an appeal of Mr. Wiles' decision.
And if I may follow up, Mr. Mayor, it's a narrow issue, this process. Mr. Wiles' decision to deny the permit is the sole issue here. And the question is, was he correct or not? She's challenging the denial. It's basically saying he was incorrect. Okay, so that's the limited scope of what you're here to decide. Was the building official correct in his interpretation of the code in denying the permit? Other matters that may come up are generally not relevant to this particular inquiry. At this point, it would be incumbent upon the owner of 139 Terry Street to come up and present her case. And then council can ask questions, and then, or the Zoning Board of Appeals asks questions, and then Mr. Wiles comes up to state his denial. Before we start, it would be incumbent upon any of the members who had any, what we call ex parte communications after the date of the appeal was filed, and I'm not sure I know what date that was, but it would be incumbent if you just disclose any and all communications you had with either the owner or any other third party out there, not the staff. That's not what I'm talking about. But so if there's any disclosures to be made regarding this issue, which occurred after the date of the filing of the appeal, it needs to be disclosed.
Carl, as I've mentioned to you, I do know Maria well. She lives near me and we're neighbors. I don't think it will have any effect on making a decision on this.
And that's fine. If you believe you can be fair and impartial to both sides, the city and to the applicant, then that's fine. But again, any communications you may have had with anybody except for staff regarding this issue, which occurred after the date of the filing of the appeal, you should disclose that. And it seems to me it's June 16th is the operative date. So if you had any discussions, please disclose those.
Okay, I also know Mrs. Dignan pretty well from playing pickleball and tennis. But the communications we had were prior to any filing of any appeal or application.
At that point, she can come up and present her case.
Ms. Dignan, come on up.
I'm Maria Degnan, 139 Terry Street.
And Maria, I'm gonna give you, since you're essentially a presenter, I'm gonna give you 5 minutes, okay?
I'm just up here before the board. I've been in this community for a very long time, 30 years. I volunteered for many years. In regards to the actual driveway that I put in without a permit, I really did not know. I've always gotten permits for the city. If you see any of the paperwork that I've submitted, it was because I didn't use a contractor. It was just some buddies that put it in for me. I didn't think I needed a permit. I've always gotten a permit for everything else: windows, garage door, roofing, all that stuff. I spoke with Mr. Wiles over the phone and through email, and I thought we could come to a compromise in as putting some venting in the concrete, and he denied that. And then I said, well, what if I cut some sections out and he said, no, absolutely not. So then I went to my doctors, and I was able to show that I needed this flat surface for my husband and for myself to walk. I also submitted pictures of several properties in Indian Harbor Beach that are over the limit, supposedly. I live on a very active corner. The city drives up and down my street all the time, to the point where they stop and say hello. Now, just 2 weeks ago, I got a notice from the city that my grass was too long. They were able to tell me my grass was too long, but they couldn't stop and say, hey, Maria, I see you're getting a concrete slab put down. Do you have a permit? I would have stopped at that point and done what I had to do. As it turns out, it happened that Linda, who no longer works for the city, came and told me after I was done. And when I tell you, I dug up my front yard, I took out the planter in the front of my house. It's been there since the house was built. And then I put in this driveway. But they waited, or I should say, Linda waited, or the city waited until I was done to tell me, hey, did you get a permit? I says, no, I didn't think I needed one because my friends and I did it. And they said, well, all you got to do is pay the post-survey price, because I didn't ask for a permit. So I says, no problem, I'll do what I got to do. And I came right over to the city with checkbook in hand to do what I had to do correctly. And I waited, and I waited, and I waited for that invoice, and it turns out that Maria had my email incorrect. And then at the last moment, I only had 24 hours to present my case, which I believe the city manager has my emails from that day, because I never received an email telling me that I had done something incorrectly and that Mr. Wiles had just put a kibosh on it. So I'm here before you saying, hey, is there any way we can get past this? Can I drill holes? Can I pay the post permit? I mean, just tell me what I got to do, and I'll try and make it right. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Counsel? I don't think so.
That's my case.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay. Think I saw Mr. Wiles is here. There he is. Sorry. If you would like to come up and we have the information here, but if there's anything you want to say that might be different or.
I think that I would just add, and I don't want to make a big deal out of it, I just want to add that I had made suggestions, because I didn't refuse remedies. I had sent the information, and she asked me in an email on the 27th of May if she could apply for a variance. And I explained to her in my email that same day that a variance wouldn't be possible because it wouldn't qualify. But some remedies would be replacing the materials that is not impervious to drainage, such as pavers. Remove the circular concrete driveway section, because that would only leave the two rectangular driveways, which is meeting the maximum coverage. Or remove the left side concrete and leave the circular driveway. And I also had received a phone call from a contractor that I know, Bobby Chasen, who was willing to help her out in some way and was asking me what he could do. And I explained to him the same thing, that just needed to reduce the concrete with something that's pervious. And that's it.
Okay, so drilling of holes, I mean, based on what I'm hearing, it sounds like let's just say for argument's sake, it's the circular portion. If she were to eliminate that, that could get her down below that maximum threshold. Or potentially doing some sort of thing that would drill holes into the concrete of a certain size. It would involve some calculations, of course, to determine how many holes, how big holes, that kind of thing to determine, because it would have the same net effect of pavers, in essence. Would allow stormwater to percolate into the ground. So that is something that if she could prove that out and prove that she can drill 1,000 holes that are, 4 inches in diameter or 3 inches in diameter, what have you, that if she could prove the math on that, so to speak, then you would be okay with that.
I would.
Okay. Okay. That's all. That's the only question I have for you.
I have a question. David, with the newly, we just approved something a couple weeks ago about reasonable accommodations through the state. So I'm curious, what does she need to do in order to apply for that, in order to meet those reasonable accommodations for this to be that purpose for disabled husband?
As far as the city goes and the city code, there's a variance process that there requires a hardship. And the hardship doesn't have to do with whether or not you got ailments. It has to do with the property. And the hardship of the property is no different than any other. All the properties are pretty similar in there, including her corner lot. So there's no hardship that would qualify, and that's one of the 5 things that have to qualify. So that right off the bat knocks out a variance. I don't know how special exceptions work for something like that. I'd have to look into that, but if you make a special exception for one property, you have to make, what you do for one property, you'll have to do for all properties.
I didn't think that was the case with this particular, what is it? What was the ordinance that was coming out of the state?
And so what David was referring to on the variance was the typical variance that municipalities grant. And there has to be a hardship, like he said. That's something that's unique to the property. We adopted a variance of that. We permitted a reasonable accommodation to occur to allow people to get variances for medical needs. Okay?
Correct.
Okay. But that could be applied for, but that's not a guarantee either. Okay. That would come back to the Zoning Board of Appeals, P&Z Zoning Board of Appeals for approval. But that's not a guarantee, but that's available.
That's what I'm referring to, where it doesn't open up the can of worms for everybody that would be eligible for it. So why is that not an option that was presented to her?
The option was presented for a variance,
All right.
and that was rejected. We understood she wanted to go down this path. Originally, it
Was that offered to her is what I'm asking. As
did
far
not
as the
offer. I did not offer that.
why not? Why, let's do that. Because that's exactly what it's for, in my understanding, correct, ma'am?
None of it's guaranteed. That's
I understand.
I don't.
Process. That's one more avenue she has that she didn't have before.
There's 2 combinations here. In her correspondence, she uses the ADA rationale for the circular driveway, but she also has a 3rd driveway for a business. And so the reasonable accommodation may not apply to facilitate ease of a business.
Wouldn't you have to apply for that in order for us to determine that? Well, then let's do that avenue before we make any judgments tonight.
So let me dive in here just for a second. So as it relates to a hardship demonstration, for a variance of any kind, that should be determined by the zoning board of appeals as opposed to staff level. You can offer opinions at staff level perhaps, but to determine whether or not somebody has a viable hardship, that comes before the board. And you may or may not be successful at it as an applicant. You come in, you present your case, as she has done. And if you do it in a variant scenario, it's up to us. If we don't think she's met that burden of a hardship, then we would vote it down theoretically. Or if we think that she has met that requirement, then we could approve it.
Yeah, and that's why I was specific
Correct.
to saying that your sole issue here is, was he correct in his interpretation of the code?
Right.
Now, does she have available alternatives? Probably. Again, no guarantee though. That's all we can commit to.
Okay. So, all right. Anybody else have questions?
No, sir.
Yes, I do have questions. So, what is the actual percentage of the yard that is covered by that impermeable surface?
It's over 35%.
And do you know the numbers?
I could give you an approximate number because the circular driveway doesn't show a radius. And in order to find the area of a circle, as you might know, you have to have the radius so you can do the calculation. And in this instance, I don't, but there's a dimension of 46 feet, 9 feet wide, and that calculation would come out, if you did it straight, would be 414 square feet, which is 414 square feet more than the two driveways that are on the left and right side. That's why when I calculated the two driveways at the maximum 775 that she's allowed, I don't even need to go any further. I see a driveway in between, and whether it's, no matter how big it is, it was over.
Yeah, I'm just asking the percentage that it's over, you know, like the number.
Adam, on page 7 at the top, he gave the figures. It's 338 square feet is what they're looking at.
Yeah, so then it's not like 60%. That's my saying. It's relatively close.
Oh.
Yeah, but yeah, that was my question, was the actual numbers, the percentage that it's over 35. But sounds like we're not going to be ruling on the scope of that tonight, as far as, so.
It's a very narrow scope. All right. So I do have just a couple of comments in general about the code itself. We're pretty good about taking a hard look at codes if an issue triggers the need to do so. We've done it in the past. I think this code, this 35%, was adopted in 1981. And presumably it's, to encourage more pervious area within any given lot, which I totally understand. By the same token, it was written as a blanket requirement for the whole city. Now, that area that her house is located in, it's the Seacoast Shores area. It's a little bit different than the remainder of the city. The remainder of the city has curb and gutter streets. There's no mechanism for water to be treated, stormwater to be treated, and the area that I'm talking about has no curb and gutter, so the water runs off from the road and goes into the yard areas and actually gets some treatment. Now, a lot of those, they used to be like little shallow swales between the driveways all over the place. A lot of them have been either filled in or have silted in or what have you. But again, this is not something for tonight per se, but I do want to look at readdressing this code requirement because I think that there is that area of the city. There may be some others too as well. But I think if the swale areas are reestablished in the front and they are providing treatment where a lot of other places aren't providing any treatment, and they can't really, their hands are tied, but their property could be considered unique. I'm not saying that, I would say that we would want to look at revamping the code to have a little bit higher allowance for it since they would be providing treatment for the stormwater runoff. So I think there's a mechanism or an avenue to get there potentially. I don't know what that magic number is. I don't know if it goes from 35% to 50%. 35% is a pretty low number. It really is. But, so anyway, that's my thought on that is I think that's something that should be looked at. I think it's reasonable too. I'm not trying to give anybody any advantage, but presumably that's the reason why that code is in place, is for stormwater runoff. And the majority of the older homes in Harbor Beach, there's zero stormwater treatment. And this would give an opportunity and perhaps encourage some of the homeowners to reestablish those swales in the front. Food for thought. All right, but as Carl said, this is a very, very narrow
issue. And if I might help, and I'm not presupposing anything, but to keep it in the positive context, positive motion, if someone's inclined to do so, it would be a motion to sustain the determination by the building official.
Okay.
That you're requesting.
I'm not,
Not a consensus item, is this an action item?
it's a motion, yes, sir.
Motion.
Motion to sustain.
Second.
A motion by Councilmember Nutt, a second by Councilmember Yorio. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign.
So we
Motion
have
carries
the
5-0.
direction of the council, or at least at the suggestion of the mayor, to relook at that. And I'll provide John with that alternative, that availability. Yes, sir. Okay. All right.
Okay. All right, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
A motion by Deputy Mayor Dyer, second by Councilmember Nutt. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0, and we are adjourned. We will take a 5-minute recess, and we'll reconvene for the city council meeting.
Can I borrow that and play with it? There's a possibility.
Yep, that's the way it used to be.
Yeah. You mentioned. Okay, so, am I online here as far as, well, get me to the code, please. How do I get rid of that? Try the backspace. I'm getting, first. Oh, dear. Okay, thank you. Nice. No kidding. No, better him than you and I.
volunteer, everything is perfect and burn road, and then right? It's just grass to the road. And so if you were to create a swale, pressure within the water, when the water runs off the road, it's a swale, and then it sinks into the road. So you're basically creating a pseudo. Not on that homeowner. So it's actually, if your property is above the road, then to us, water flow to something eating with the storm guidance. I think that, my opinion, when we're considering the next type of area, what the compromise is, if you were to create scale, you effectively increase the surface of the environment. Mitigating, stop pushing over time, because it pushes to the point where the impervious is 35%, so the impervious, if you increase the surface area, what are your question? I mean, I'm a huge fan of the more storm. It's obvious, yeah. So there's a first. Tentative on open forum. Ever we have a presentation in fire department, police department, and it was yeah, Charlotte. And good for you, right? Have you been able to look at that? Definitely, probably. Have yours. No, I don't work outside. You going on here too? I do that, but I think I haven't done that. But you use patience. Yeah, no, I have not done outside. It's insane. So if I'm doing that, it'll be fun. So it's winter. It's great too. Catch it. We do, we don't think we don't sweat those we don't. Why we tie each time?
Oh, you had to be,
It says that, well, yeah, you have a straight about 30 feet long. You hold it stiff out. So now when you're throwing the cage, then you pull the trap forward, close the thing. You pull them out, put the band on. That's me, I'm thinking about. I'll show you. I know. I started.
I'd like to call to order the regular city council meeting for July 28, 2026. The time is now 7:30 PM. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silent meditation. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. All right, we'll start off with roll call.
Mayor Scott Nichol.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Adam Dyer. Councilmember Susan Romy.
Here.
Councilmember David Nutt.
Here.
Councilmember Neil Yorio. Also in attendance, City Manager John W. Coffey and City Attorney Carl Bone.
Thank you. We can skip on to item number 5, which is additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda, if any. Does anyone on council have any changes or additions? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move along to item number 6, which is presentations, proclamations, and introductions. We have 2 tonight. The first one being the police department introductions. So we will call up Chief Butler to make those introductions.
Thank you. Good evening, council. And first, I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to share this important milestone in these officers' career with you in the community. Your support means a lot, so I want to thank you for that. So it's my pleasure to introduce our 2 newest officers, Officer John Harris and Officer Mark Bailey. If you guys can come on up. All right. I'll tell you a little bit about each of the officers. This is John. John is originally from Cheshire, Massachusetts. He began his career in public safety as a volunteer a volunteer firefighter with the town of Adams Fire Department. Pains me to say that. He also worked at the town of Adams Public Works Department before going into business with his father, and they built a successful company specializing in sewer and drainage. Looking for a warmer climate, he and his family moved to Brevard County. He saw this move as an opportunity to pursue his lifelong dream of becoming a police officer. He attended the Eastern Florida Police Academy and began his career with the Cocoa Beach Police Department before seeing the error in his ways and over to the best agency here in Beachside. John is currently completing his field training officer program under the guidance of Corporal Perez. He is engaged to be married, is a proud father of 3. John has done an outstanding job so far, and we're excited to see where his future brings us in the police department. Mark. Must be something in the water. He's also from Massachusetts, originally, from Barrington, Massachusetts. After graduating high school, he moved to Brevard County to pursue his dream of becoming a police officer, where he enrolled to pursue a criminal justice degree at Eastern Florida State College. While attending college, he was recruited by the Brevard County Sheriff's Office to become a deputy sheriff. After successfully completing their police academy, he started their training officer program and completed their FTO program. Due to staffing needs, Mark was later assigned to the civil process section of the Sheriff's Office. While he appreciated the experience, his passion has always been patrol work and building relationships with the community. After hearing great things about the Indian Harbor Beach Police Department and being recruited by one of our own, Officer John Ramos, Mark decided to apply and continue his law enforcement career with our agency. Mark is currently also completing his field training officer program under the supervision of Sergeant Corey Stacy. He's demonstrated great work ethics, enthusiasm for the job. He's doing an outstanding job, and we're also excited to see where his future is here at the police department. And yes, he is old enough to buy his own bullets. The family, who are you gonna have come up to pin you? I think he brought the whole state of Massachusetts with him.
I'm just gonna my fiance come up.
Whole family with you today?
Yeah, I'm just gonna my fiance come up.
Okay. And Mark, introduce your family and who you're gonna have come up. Pin you. Okay. Okay, if you guys can face me. Right hand. Trying to get more, so he's going to give a speech here today. All right, guys, congratulations.
Okay, next we have fire department presentations. Chief Lewis?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council members. It's my absolute pleasure to introduce to you two of our newest city employees who are truly making history here tonight. These individuals are our city's first full-time paid firefighter EMTs. But before we introduce them, I'd like to briefly recap how we've got here. 3 years ago, you hired me as your first full-time fire chief. One of the highest priorities that I identified was the inconsistent level of response and readiness for fire, medical, and other emergencies here in our community. This concern also aligned with what you and our residents had already identified as a weakness, and it was clearly outlined as a key responsibility for me to address as the new fire chief. At the same time, I was tasked with building a strong volunteer recruitment and retention program, and I am proud to say that we've made meaningful progress in this key responsibility also, growing from 23 volunteers with only 9 certified in 2024 to 35 volunteers and 16 certified firefighters today. Our community is small, uniquely quaint, and vibrant. Financially, we cannot support a fully paid fire department, and we don't need to. Our vision has always been, and will continue to be, a combination of dedicated volunteers supported by a small, highly trained, full-time staff to ensure our community receives the protection and response it deserves. My recommendation to you and city leadership has remained consistent. Crawl, walk, run. We began crawling with part-time personnel. Today, we are taking the next step by adding 2 full-time firefighter EMTs. Once the fire station renovation is complete, the plan is to add 4 more, bringing us to a total of 6 full-time firefighters. This will allow us to provide round-the-clock, 24 hours, 7-day-a-week fire and rescue coverage. While our volunteer firefighters provide an invaluable service and will continue to provide an invaluable service to our community, full-time firefighters bring a level of reliability, availability, and professional readiness that a volunteer-only model simply cannot match. Emergencies don't happen on a schedule. Full-time firefighters are on duty 24 hours, 7 days a week, and can respond immediately rather than waiting for those volunteers who may be available to leave work or leave home and then come to the fire station to respond. Those extra minutes mean the difference between containing a small fire or losing an entire home or business, or even the difference between life and death during a medical emergency when seconds count. Full-time firefighters also train as part of their regular work schedule, ensuring they maintain advanced skills in firefighting, emergency medical care, hazardous materials response, technical rescue, and disaster management. We have already seen the presence and daily activity of our paid crew attract our volunteers to the station. It's like a magnet. It's contagious. And the end result is a response-ready crew that has been training and honing their skills, volunteers and paid fire staff together. As our community has grown and aged, emergency calls have become more frequent and more complex. A dedicated full-time workforce ensures consistent coverage while reducing the risk of volunteer burnout and gaps in response. In the 3 years that I have been here, we responded to every call. However, we've come close to not having enough personnel, and there have been times it's just been Hank or Tony or myself alone on an emergency response. While employing paid firefighters requires a greater financial investment, the benefits are clear. Faster response times, reduce property losses, improve public safety, improved outcomes for patients, better insurance ratings for our community, and greater preparedness for emergencies. Our volunteers will always remain a vital part of our department, along with the response of a core team of full-time firefighters to provide the dependable foundation that modern emergency services require, and brings us in line with the level of service that is seen throughout our surrounding community. Our improving response times are a clear testament to the progress we are making. In 2024, our average response time was 8 minutes and 22 seconds. In 2025, it improved to 6 minutes and 59 seconds. Today, in 2026, we've reduced our average response time to 5 minutes and 27 seconds. That's a 35% increase over where we were. Crawl, walk, run. Now back to history making. Tonight, these two firefighters have a combined 57 total years of volunteer service to this great city. We've celebrated each of them up here before, and tonight we're going to do it again. Firefighter Matt McNulty. Bring your family. Matt began volunteering with the Indian Harbour Beach Fire Department back in 2006. Matt and his wife Stephanie have been married for 12 years and enjoy 3 children. Vivian, who's 10, Liam, who's 9, and Mackenzie, who's 19. She can't be here with us today, back at school. Pinning Matt this evening will be Next, I'd like to call up firefighter Tony Coleman and his family. Tony began volunteering with Indian Harbour back in 1989. Tony and his wife Shannon have been married for 15 years, and their daughter Alexis, who's 13, is here tonight to share in this moment with us. Pinning Tony this evening will be his father, Joe Coleman, who's a retired Satellite Beast patrolman. Gentlemen, if you'll step forward.
Mayor, I say something before they bolt out of here.
Sure, go ahead. Councilmember Nutt would like to say a few words.
I cannot say enough about our police and fire department, but I had firsthand witness of something amazing on July 23rd when I saw Matt and Tony run into a smoke-filled building over here on South Patrick at the laundromat that was on fire. And I cannot tell you how it makes me feel that you ran in there this with fearless selflessness. It just blows me away, and I'm very proud of you guys. It was amazing what you guys did, even though it was put out very quickly. But the knowing that you just walked in blindly, you couldn't see anything, and you ran right in. And I want to thank you guys for everything you do.
Um, Should we take a recess for a few more minutes while, so they don't, I mean, you guys are welcome to stay for the council meeting. I know it's a scintillating conversation, but you guys. All right, time to reconvene the council meeting. So we'll move on to item number 7, which is approval of minutes from the regular city council meeting of June 23rd, 2026. Does anyone have any question or any corrections they want to see? Hearing none, I will sign those into the record. All right, on to item number 8, which is reports, starting off with city manager's report.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, council members, residents gathered here and watching at home. First action item, previously City Attorney Bone forwarded you information regarding a potential property tax reform town hall meeting. In the past, having the city clerk back and forth dates has never seemed to work well, so I request y'all pull your calendars out and we set a date here. Of note, this chamber is unavailable mid-August for the primary election. If that's the time you want to have the town hall meeting, we could have it at the rec center.
Wait for my phone to power up. All right, does anyone on council have a particular date that they would like to see this happen? You guys know I'm always a fan of trying to set them either before
I would
or after a council meeting.
perhaps only suggest to the end of August, with the beginning of school and the Florida League of Cities conference. I think the first 2 weeks will be a little hectic.
Yeah, I'm available last week, August.
I have no conflict with that either.
I'm available as well.
So, just be clear, you want to have this before the 25th meeting? And if that's the case, do you want to start 5:30 or 6 o'clock? No.
Not much to discuss. I'm going to limit you at what you can discuss. You read everything I said, so I just want to be careful that, we don't cross the line. I mean, it's more or less a factual meeting to present facts.
So does it need to be held?
No,
Does it make
that
any
wouldn't
difference?
that wouldn't make a difference.
So what if we do it at 5:30, just in case? That gives us,
I can't be here at 5:30 on the 25th.
you cannot?
No.
We definitely think you need to be in attendance. What's the earliest you could attend?
6:30 would be the earliest.
Okay. Is there, could we go to,
I was going to say, Mr. Mayor, one option, August 11th meeting is very light. Possibly we could have it after the August 11th meeting.
Don't we have
we
a
have a
budget
budget
workshop
workshop.
before?
There is that at 5:30, but the actual meeting itself probably won't take more than a half hour.
Yeah, I think if we have it on the 25th at 6:30, and then if there is a need for a future one, we could potentially, entertain that.
so what if you made similar to what we were doing tonight,
Yeah.
which we basically said it'll start immediately after the conclusion of the town hall meeting, in case it runs a little long.
In the 25th.
Right, right, yes.
Just in case it goes over.
Will the city be making a presentation to kick off the town hall meeting?
I have a very brief one planned. There's a lot of uncertainty, but, I can give a very global,
Because that'll eat into some of that time.
I'll be quick.
Okay.
Carl, how are our hands tied about advertising this to the public? There's a lot of restrictions here that you're afraid of.
Advertise at the town hall meeting
Okay,
to discuss.
tax reform?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's said at the, I can't guess or say what you're going to say. I just got to make sure.
And I think it'd just be a great opportunity to, let residents ask questions about how we actually, run the budget at the city, and then, inform them on stuff like that as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very opinionated, you know that.
Yeah, I know.
So,
That's why I'm sitting next to you.
I want to make sure that, yeah, we need to have a pre-meeting or something, so I know what the parameters. I just want to make sure that people are getting the right information that they need to have, even though it may not fall in some of the lines that's required by me to keep my mouth shut. Typical lawyer. I'll let it be.
My job is to keep you out of trouble.
I get it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Those words you said, I can't bring them back.
Yeah.
All right, so we're looking at the 25th at 6:30.
Moving on, some informational items. So Algonquin Sports Complex Expansion Project, staff attended a on-site progress meeting last Friday. The turf field is stretched and glued. The sand is down. They are now putting the rock fill. The sewer line extension in the North Osceola is complete. Temporary backfill and patch is in place while waiting for final inspection. The FP&L conduit work is partly completed. FP&L, you have to use their materials to put the conduit in. They give you the materials, and they didn't give us the right amount of materials. So nothing ever works well with FP&L. Asphalt is down on the ball courts. Curing period is waiting. The last few days, they've been bringing fill in to start to shape and grade the common areas. Upcoming work is completion of the ball field, the conduits, more material, and starting of the parking lot. The City Hall baffle box project, as most folks can see outside, is largely complete. Remaining work is final restoration, asphalting, bollards, railings, sodding. We anticipate substantial completion to be within a few weeks, well ahead of schedule. The recently issued request for qualifications for continuing services for engineering and stormwater consulting, that closed last Friday. Yesterday, the evaluation committee opened up 8 qualification statements. The committee will meet next Tuesday to shortlist the firms for interviews on the 18th. Confirmation of the committee's rankings is scheduled to be on the August 25th meeting for your consideration. The YUMA project is quickly moving towards completion. It's been slowed by our summer weather. As previously reported, 2 change orders totaling a little over $12,000 or 7% of the project were approved. Copies of the change orders are attached. On June 24th, I authorized Chief Lewis to proceed with purchase of 2 additional laptop computers and materials for use in emergency vehicles now that the fire department is connected through Brevard County's fire computer-aided dispatch system. The $17,000 costs will be covered by a transfer from the city manager's contingency account. The quote and tracker are attached. June revenue and expenditure reports are attached. So are the third quarter cash and investment reports. Chief Lewis has submitted the first 6 months of 2026 instant report for the fire department. 308% call volume over the same period last year, primarily due to the addition of emergency medical responses. The final IHB legislative tracker was emailed out, and paper copies are in front of you. If you start to get lonesome for one, we will start it back up in November again. In accordance with city charter, I'll be submitting the fiscal year 27 proposed budget to you this Thursday. Electronic copies will be posted on the city's website by close of business Friday. The proposed budget workshop is scheduled for 5:30 Tuesday, August 11th at 5:30. First readings of the tax rate and budget ordinances 7 p.m. Tuesday, September 1st. Just a reminder, our September meetings are on the 1st and 3rd Tuesdays because we cannot have our public hearings the same time as the school board and the county. As previously mentioned, staff conducted an employee survey to gauge perspectives from our staff regarding employee insurances as we close in on health insurance renewals in the next few weeks. Not surprising, opinions vary greatly. 53% of employees were either very satisfied or satisfied with their health insurance plan, while 27% were dissatisfied or very dissatisfied. Those numbers are very similar to the breakout of employee-only coverage and family coverage. The summary report is attached. We have several employee volunteer recognitions. Sergeant Thompson and Officer Imparado, Chief Butler received an attached thank you from an elderly resident for their assistance in helping her son get her a temporary AC unit. Chief Butler also received a thank you note from a resident about the department's effort in keeping the community safe. Lieutenant Carter received a phone call from a citizen regarding Officer Dennis's recent traffic stop. The citizen stated previously he had a negative opinion of law enforcement personnel, but after speaking with Officer Dennis, he was pleasantly surprised that he had changed his perspective on law enforcement. Kudos to Officer Dennis and Chief Butler. The next meeting, we have a proclamation and the annual stormwater assessment rate and adoption roll. This Thursday night is our first annual patriotic golf cart parade with America 250 celebration following in Gleason Park starting at 5:30. And lastly, I'd be amiss if I didn't recognize Assistant to the City Manager, Ori Covert, who this is his last council meeting. He is leaving to start the next chapter of his life early next month. For folks watching at home, Ori's been with us a little over 3 years and has led a lot of the continuous improvement initiatives that have made us a more efficient, effective, responsive organization, plus taking a lot of work off my plate to allow me to do my job better. Ori, you were here for 3 years, but your legacy will last much longer. And beside Ori is our new management analyst, Gina Sherman, who has the inevitable task of following Ori. I'm sure she's going to do a very good job. She started last week, and fortunately, she has a little overlap with Ori. So that concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Next is the city attorney's report. Carl? Nothing there. Next is council comments. I'll start with our deputy mayor.
I just want to also take a little time to say thank you, Ori, as well. You've done a lot around here at the city, even side by side handing out sandbags during the hurricanes. You're right there with us, and you, I think, went to an emergency management meeting up in Brevard County right after that. So no job too small. I appreciate everything you've done for the city and looking forward to what you have in the future. Also looking forward to the first annual golf cart parade. I know there's a lot of work going into it. It should be a great event. There's going to be some events in the parking lot afterwards, so I encourage everybody to come on out and have a good time and talk to your neighbors.
All right. Councilmember Romy.
I echo all the sentiments about Ori, but also want to add thank you for tolerating my boys every time they come to an event. So thank you. I attended the library board meeting, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, and just a large majority was spent talking about property taxes. Of note is Satellite is having 3 town halls to discuss property taxes. So I definitely think it's good we have one coming up. And also just to, I guess, Todd Scaldo and John Coffey, they told everyone everything was going to be good on Yuma. And I got to tell you, those sidewalks look fantastic. So I know there was a lot of drama leading up to those sidewalks, but they look awesome. So thanks.
All right. Councilmember Iorio.
Ori, you are going to be missed tremendously. I had the pleasure of working with Ori when he first started because he was assigned to work with the Tree Preservation Board when I was a member of the Tree Preservation Board. And so some of us, including in the audience, also were participants in that Tree Preservation Board, which Ori supported. So I appreciate all that you have done for the city, Ori. I hope your battery in your car lasts a long time. And I wish you the best on your future.
All right. Councilmember Nutt?
Ori, I can't tell you how missed you're going to be and how much I appreciate you educating me, believe it or not. You are a wealth of information, and I appreciate that as well. And you never say no. And whatever your endeavors are, I know that someone else is going to be very fortunate to have you. But if we could hold you hostage and keep you here, I'd do it because you're invaluable. I appreciate you.
All right. Well, I'm going to echo everyone's comments thus far about everything. They're all very good comments. And Ori, same here. I mean, we're definitely going to miss you. I've always enjoyed our interactions. You've done a fantastic job for the city, and I wish you the best of luck. Okay, on to public comments for non-public hearing agenda items only. What we're going to do is for those that want to speak under this line item, we're going to move that to, I'll tack it on to the extended public forum, which is item 11. But we'll get to that later. After that, there's no unfinished business. We're on to item 10, new business. 10A is establishment of the fiscal year 26, 27, tentative operating millage property tax rate at 5.5077. City Manager Coffey.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. The fiscal year 27 proposed general fund budget to be provided later this week is balanced at $20,150,138 with a property tax rate, millage rate, of 5.5077, which is 2.72 above the rollback revenue neutral rate. Of note, that number is much larger than prior years. 6+ million of that is the first 2/3 of the muck removal project. So just want to get that out that a good chunk of that is grant funded money. The proposed millage rate is projected to yield $247,000 in additional net revenue to the city to fund recurring expenses and one-time funding of capital projects. It is 0.0022 or 0.04 lower than the current millage rate. The components of the budget, no new positions that were not prior partially funded, 3.25% salary wage increase for all employees, 177,000 additional costs for a police pension offset by a one-time prepay to the plan due to changes in mortality rates mandated by the state, an estimated 20% increase in employee health insurance premium, estimated 6% in liability, property insurance, and workers' comp, $9 million in capital projects, of which $6+ million is grant funded, about $156,000 in contingency citywide, $75,000 in contingency for public works, and $50,000 in consulting fees to conduct a fire assessment feasibility study. In accordance with Florida statutes, the final adopted millage rate may be lower but cannot be higher. If this millage rate is eventually adopted, IHB homesteaded property owners will see their city taxes go up 2.96%. For an example, a homeowner with a taxable assessment of $546,000 would pay an extra $86. I have a nice chart that shows that while valuations are going up, the growth rate continues to go down. This is our tax rate. This would be the 5th year of reduced tax rates for the city. Of note, this millage rate would require in September 4 affirmative votes by the City Council to be approved. The state passed a new law this year that a majority vote of the council, or 3 votes, can only approve the rollback rate. Therefore, staff recommends the City Council approve the maximum millage rate for fiscal year '27 at 5.5077.
Okay, thank you. Any comments from council? We'll start with the deputy mayor.
Yes, this is always a difficult topic, but no one likes an increase, but I just know that, here at the city, we're very fiscally responsible, and the residents do get a lot of value for these taxes, for what we're accomplishing right now with our increased investment in our public safety, the fire department, securing and retention some of the workers and at the police department, and all while the city's being responsible in converting old positions from, I believe, like maintenance positions to, make opportunities and create that public safety investment. It's quite a feat, and all while doing that, we're still one of the lower ends of all the cities in the county. So I just appreciate the job the city does, and I agree with it.
Councilman Romy.
Same. I think the city does do a fantastic job. I was at some meetings and people were very envious of us being debt-free and where our taxes are and the millage rate going down. So great job, John, and your whole staff.
Councilmember Yorio.
Concur with the previous comments that even though it is a small increase, we are still pretty low on the millage rate scale, so no issues with it.
Councilmember Nutt.
Do this. So, good work, John. I appreciate it.
Yep, and I agree with that. One thing that's lost with some folks is the increased costs that we incur every year. Year over year, just like everyone does personally, we have the same issues. You heard John touch on it, increased health insurance costs and various other costs, inflationary costs. So a small increase in your tax bill is to me is very reasonable for what you're getting. So great job. So with that, I would entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the maximum millage rate for fiscal year '27 at 5.5077.
Second.
I have a motion by Deputy Mayor Dyer, second by Councilmember Romy. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, on to item number 11, extended public forum. So anyone out there that wishes to come up and speak, you may do so, but if you're going to do it, please fill out a speaker form. There's some there on the front table. But I have one speaker card here, David Noble. I knew you were going to say something. So please state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Dave Noble. I live at 1206 Pine Tree Drive. I also have a business on Tomahawk Drive. First of all, we got big trucks going down Pine Tree right now. Don't know if they belong. I think they exceed the dump trucks. I think so, yeah. But anyway, some of them are fast, but others are pretty cool. So just to bring that out, it's a pet peeve of mine, or a little bit more than that. One thing I did want to bring up, I got stuck in traffic while the fire was going on at the laundromat. And I noticed a Satellite Beach fireman throwing a wrench at the hydrant in front of Ace Hardware Store. Don't know if he was having a problem with that or not, but at one time we had major problems with the hydrants in town. Who maintains those? The
City of Melbourne Water maintains that.
Okay.
City of Melbourne.
That
particular hydrant?
Yeah.
Inspected.
Well, I saw Tony there, Tony Coleman, EMT. He was working on it the day after.
Mr. Noble.
So I didn't know
Can
if
you
there was
address-
an issue or
address
not.
council?
So just a reminder, we've had problems in the past, and I hope we don't have one again. One of the subjects I was going to bring up was the tennis courts on Pine Tree, but I think I'm now understanding what's going on there. I didn't an hour ago. So are there plans that we can see on what's proposed?
For the fire station annex?
Yeah.
Yes, John, I'm sure.
So are they
provides
posted
that.
anywhere online, or is that something that?
They're not posted because they're in the development phase. So if I posted 30% plans and then they changed at 40%,
Okay.
I deal with why they change.
So my understanding then is the tennis courts are going away.
Yes, that's where the annex will be built.
Okay.
Well, we're moving them because there's going to be
Yes.
tennis courts at the Algonquin Sports Complex. There's going to be one.
I understand that, but within our comprehensive plan, we're supposed to keep them. But I was told not to bring this up. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else wish to speak? Hearing none? I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Councilman, second by Dyer. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0, and we are adjourned.